for one, so many.
She's at 3 deployments, she got 3 years off of it.
I'm on a budget. And.
Her time was spent, that's what it was. Her some,
Oh.
no,
I've seen her. I've only been
I looked at.
Murphy.
For 5 years. I think it's 7. It's 5 or 7. I'll look at it, it's like 7 years.
Oh, that would be great.
What? What do you just got?
But if I go take their eyes, I just leave up out here.
Okay, I see a tall person in there and just say, hey, Murphy, and see if like she'll be, I know you. Say, no,
I guess I'll be off the parachute this fall and gone for a year and a half, and then we gone. Yeah, you'll probably heard me towards Traverse City, so.
You got just fine.
You and your grandma to be. That's on the building. Here, there, cross, there, cross. Oh, awesome.
I'm scared if I should have.
Why didn't you catch my spelling mistake?
Well, that Space Bed Bridge was awesome, with the kayak launch and riding spots. Yeah. It's been busy too, people are using it. I
Absolutely.
noticed when the boys going on,
Absolutely.
cars parking there.
Really looking forward to the part 2
Yes,
of our
people
Oh,
creative
yeah,
Out of town?
whole place
absolutely.
can be accessible.
Yes. Do you know how close we are to our goal?
We're
Do you
gonna
match?
go. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. 7 o'clock, time to start the meeting. I call this meeting to order. Brian, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Allie, will you please do roll call?
Absolutely. Patton?
Here.
Tyrell?
Here.
Chapman? Fox?
Here.
Drake?
Here.
Shearhart and Tyler will be absent tonight.
Thank you. We have one addition to the agenda tonight. We need to add an action item, and the action item A is to renew the recreational marijuana permit that's held by Kelly Young. So we're just renewing, this is a yearly thing, but we're renewing it tonight. So with that, are there any other additions or deletions or changes to the agenda that anybody would like to propose?
No, I'll move that we approve the presented agenda.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And now, are there any additions or deletions or changes to the minutes from the June 10th, 2026 meeting?
I'll move to approve them.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And now, public comment. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Jared?
So, the rain and the washouts have been a hot topic. Alan Musall is the new general manager of the road commission, and he's called me a lot in the last week or so. Obviously hearing from a lot of constituents, but the traffic controllers are gone here from the village, so that means they can be used somewhere else, and they're making headway. He said yesterday that Michigan Department of Transportation, which is MDOT, which is doing the repairs, they've got this bad washout on 88, and they got a bad one on 66, and this one was a little more in depth than they thought, so they were gonna go look at 66 today, so I don't know where that's at exactly, but they are making headway. They have machines, I guess, that they go in and do tests to see if it's stable or not, and the culvert passed, but it was like it passed by 1 point, so he didn't feel real good about it. Other than that, last month the medical examiner gave the report to the county commissioners, and our suicides, we only had 1 last year, which is great because the last couple of years we've had 4. So a decrease there, and no opioid deaths. They did have a couple that were alcohol/THC related. Sometimes they don't know exactly. Sometimes it's a combination that can do it. So I'm on community mental health, and we have pressured the board there and the CEO to reopen the Bergman Center. And so they've been open about 2 weeks again now, and we'll be getting another update next week, but I'm glad that they've had between 20 and 30, it sounds like, folks that have been able to go there and do their crafts, and some of them do some work there too and get a paycheck. So it's a break for the families because those folks need a lot of care and can be kind of stressful. So I'm glad they're open, and I think I might have mentioned that they were closing a month or 2 ago. So, thank you.
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you.
Anybody else for public comment? All right, public comment is closed, and we turn to reports. Chief Barrett, the police report, please.
Thank you. Hopefully everybody got a chance to look at the report. It is getting busier. We're seeing more complaints on it, as expected. Again, everything that we've done is on the left-hand side. Followed up by some of the highlights at the bottom. Some training, annual conference, did a big disaster training in Bel Air with the Sheriff's Department and the National Guard, and pretty impressive as far as getting that many resources together, and the helicopters and the gear and everything that came in and stuff like that. So good training. Training that we wouldn't see any other time unless we traveled out of state probably and did some type of FEMA training or something like that. So like I said, that's kind of in a nutshell what it is. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you. John Schutz, DPW report, please.
June, yeah, good, busy one. I guess a couple of bigger highlights. We flushed hydrants this month, which is a little later than we typically like, but that's just the way the spring went this year. 1 water line replacement. Did water flow testing. Other than that, just typical monthly stuff. And actually, flood repair and cleanup was in June, not in July last week, so that was a little exciting last week.
Sure was.
Other than that, normal month.
I'd really like to commend the DPW for all they did to respond to that flash flooding and the.
Wasn't much of
But thank you, and both the police department and the DPW for everything you did for the 4th of July weekend. It was a wonderful event that came quickly on the heels of that flooding and all that mess. And so it was a wonderful day, and it took a lot of work on your part. And so I thank you for that. Thank you for that. Clerk report.
Yeah, so So, just another normal month. There's a couple highlights here though, which are exciting. The village is officially direct deposit for payroll. Very cool stuff. First time.
Very 21st century, I must say.
Yeah, we love it. It's very nice. And then, tax bills have been mailed out, and so collection starts. Taxes for 2026 for the village are due on September 14th. The village office that day will be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. In accordance to Michigan law.
Questions for Ally? Quick questions? Okay, on to the finance and personnel report. We met with the auditor to get the audit report a while ago, and I want to commend Ally for all of the work that she's done to make that audit run as smoothly as it does. Every year it gets better and better, and this year it was, it only took them a couple of days here, and the report was very positive. I'll start with, we've got our audit book here. Let's look at that first, and I'm just gonna highlight a couple of things on page 17. If you could go to 17, please. The bottom line on the column under general, that's the general fund. When all is said and done, that last amount above the double line, $604,338, that is our fund balance. And this is a good amount. It's not too much and it's not too little. If our fund balance is too low, we could have cash flow issues because we only get paid a couple of times a year when the taxes are due. And we still have to make payroll and pay bills and keep the village running. And so many times we have to dip into that amount in order to cover all the bills in anticipation of the tax funding coming in to make up for that. So this fund balance may seem like a lot of money, but it's the amount that the village needs to have to keep the cash flow going. And in case there's a major infrastructure fail, and we've already depleted our street funds, or whatever the infrastructure fail may be, a healthy fund balance covers unanticipated emergencies. Third, our fund balance is a fiscally responsible amount. We will not have difficulties paying our bills with this fund balance. And it's also healthy to have for matching grants and different opportunities that the village can pursue because we do have funding in that account. So last year, we took $50,000 out of our general fund to make up the difference that was not funded through our police millage. Our police millage funds $83,000 of the $113,000 public safety account. And so we have a millage, we are requesting a public safety police millage renewal in August. And our accountant wanted us to be emphatically aware that if that millage does not pass, that it is not sustainable to fund the entire police department out of the fund balance. It might be sustainable for a couple of years, but it's not fiscally responsible. The village can't afford to do that. So that's something to be aware of. And if you have any easy questions about this page, I entertain them. And I appreciate your kindness. All right, so on to page 23. So page 23 is our cash flow indicator. And I want to call your attention to that bottom line there. Cash and cash equivalents at the end of the year. That's cash in the bank, basically. And that's what's in the various funds. And one thing to note is our campground fund is already collecting funding for the next year because people make their reservations ahead of time. And so that's just something the accountant wanted us to be aware of, that's we're already getting funds for the next fiscal year in that campground fund. So the recommendations of the accountant are very similar from the audit that they've been in years gone by. And that is, we are a very small municipality. We cannot afford to hire the personnel that it would take to have the appropriate number of number people looking at the books. So what we've done, similarly to other small municipalities, is we have oversight from the council. We look at the accounts and look at the amounts, and we are increasing our reporting monthly to the council of what the remainders are in the various funds that we manage. And also we contract with an outside accountant to come in and look over our monthly bank reconciliation and make sure that everything matches and is all accounted for. So we do what we can. However, the accountant, the auditors, they still must report to the state that this is a deficit. All the other municipalities of our size and even a bit larger have the same report. Also included in that report are the measures that we take to mitigate that risk, because it is a risk to not have several people in the books all the time doing different duties. The fact that we have one person as the clerk treasurer is not ideal, but it's all we can afford. And so we make best do with what we have. And so the auditors anticipate no need for corrective action or a plan of corrective action or anything like that. They expect their reports to be noted by the state, but there should be no corrective action. So they are commending Allie for her organization and for continually improving the processes and always looking for ways to make sure things are accurate and clear and clearly reported. And that is all I have to say about the audit.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? All right.
All the years I've been here, every year we get the same thing. We don't have enough personnel in the office. That's all I can afford.
All right.
We're lucky to have who we have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that concludes my finance and personnel report. There is no correspondence this month, and so I asked the council to look at the bills, and there aren't any really that jumped out at me that need to be explained. There's very little strange stuff in here this time. Although on page, let's see. On page 11 of 12, something you might notice is that we're purchasing urine enzyme cleaner, and that is to treat the odor in the women's bathroom drain at the campground, just to let you know. And it seems to be working
At times.
at times when the wind is blowing from the south. So, are there any questions about the bills? If not, I entertain a motion to approve the bills.
I'll make that motion.
All Ally, we need to do roll call.
Yep, Patton,
Yes.
Tyrell,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Drake.
Yes.
And we have no old business, we do have new business. Pam Singer is here to present about the Antrim Scholars. Thank you, Pam.
Yeah.
Oh, and she brought a team.
We didn't bring the biggest game. There you go. We wanted to have kids here too, but, there's a lot of other things going on,
Yeah.
so. We have Mary Ellen Murphy, who works for, schools, and Sylvia Shomakovchik, who is the chair of the Antrim Scholar, group. Antrim Scholars is in Central Lake Schools, and it was put into place to help kids get to and through college. So kids who want to go to a four-year college, we have 11 committee members that jump in. We are there almost last year, twice a week. This year, we're going to try to stick to Thursdays. And we do everything from SAT prep to helping kids apply to colleges, acceptances, and understanding finances and how to take scholarships and how to defer them and the whole kit and caboodle. So we're just a support system. We have 11 women that come in and help us at the schools. And most of those women actually are from Bel Air. So we're just super fortunate to have so many generous women that are giving up their time to really help these kids. We've got 4 kids that went to Northern Michigan University, and we'll be starting in the fall. We've got 9 that are currently seniors, and we have 4 who have applied to get into our program that will be incoming juniors. So we're pretty excited about the program and about these kids getting to school. One of our requirements is that our scholars do a service project. And we talked about the type of service project we wanted to do, and we looked at Thurston Park and the pavilion, and we thought it would be pretty neat if we could get in there and paint a mural on one of the ends of the pavilion. So I approached Rob, and he approached the board, I think it was last year, and just talked about it, but we're here today to share more of what the plan is. Mary Ellen Murphy is an art teacher and an artist, and through a generous grant that she has given to another artist in Boyne City, they're helping us through this process. And also Art Connections in Elk Rapids is paying for all the paint, the brushes, and the supplies. I guess the owner, Sherry Reed, used to live in Central Lake. It's near and dear to her heart, and so she wanted to support this as well. So we've got people from all over Antrim County coming into Central Lake really wanting to help. So I'm really proud and happy about what the group is doing. Mary Ellen, can you kind of walk us through the process with the mural for Thurston Park?
Yes. Well, first of all, we'll have to get all the flake and paint off and then paint a good primer. And we need a special primer and special paint to do murals with so that the sun doesn't fade it. And then we have to put a protective sealant over it. So that's awesome that Sherry Reed's Art Connection is paying for that because it's very expensive. And so then I called on Martina Hahn. She's from Boyne City, and she's done murals before. And she's done several in Boyne City. So anyway, she met with the kids, her and I met with the kids, and we suggested, what do you guys want to do? We showed them yours. They loved it. And so they kind of came upon this idea to write "Welcome to Central Lake," and then each letter will tell a story about Central Lake, because they sat there and they thought about everything they wanted to project about our great little town. And so it was kind of cool that I went to our superintendent and I said, since we're doing this whole makeover of the school with Bond, can we paint on the walls? And he said, sure. So there's pictures of the kids just painting on the walls. and getting the idea of, she had them measuring and, figuring out the size of the letters and all this. And it was fun, it was a lot of fun, we had a good time. Nothing like painting on a wall. So, that's a basic idea, we still need to tweak it. It's kind of smushed in the middle, so.
So it's like a postage stamp that says Central Lake, and there's, the kids came up with ideas of what they wanted in each letter to represent Central Lake. And also, we're going to have a banner that we put up on the pavilion, just say coming soon. And then once we do the painting, we would like to, have an event where we come celebrate what the kids have accomplished. And then we hope to come back to you the following year and the following year and keep doing murals around that building or other places. But we're hopeful that this becomes a neat service project for us for the future.
Martina and I went down to the park to measure walls, and as we were doing that, we looked around and we thought, wow, there's a lot of walls. So it'll keep us busy for a while.
I think you can
That's why we haven't painted them.
Yeah, you can get registered too, so that people come to your town, they'll go look it up.
Yes.
Very cool.
And visit.
And this will have to be timed with, I'm optimistic that the Thurston Park accessibility project will be happening.
Right, we've been working with Paddle-Antrim, so they're well aware of what we're doing as well. And we're shooting for September, and we'll, dependent on weather, it's very important that it's not too cold. So we'll just make the plan and see how it goes. But very appreciative for your support in that, and if you have any questions.
Any questions for the group? Thank you so much
All
for
right.
this.
Ellie, did you get a picture of us? Could you get a picture of us looking kind of the board?
Yes, absolutely. Do you want to
Sorry, I made a Facebook now.
Kip, I'm sorry. Do you want to scoot in a little more? You look like a child.
I'm busy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you. I'll give it over to you.
All right.
Thanks, Al. Thank you. Have a great night.
So our next item of new business is something Kelly has been presenting about for, I think she's been to maybe 2 meetings to talk with us about it, and she's met with Rob. And earlier this week or last week,
2 days ago, Monday. It was Monday.
on Monday, Ally and Rob and Kelly met with our attorney to work on wording of ordinance 3, which is item B of new business. And ordinance 3 that we're not approving or not voting on tonight, we'll vote on it in the future, and I'll talk more about that in a moment, is to allow Kelly's license to expand to a medical marijuana facility. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One of them is that medical marijuana has been recognized federally now, and that's an important development. And so, Kelly, will you just fill us in, just give us the overview of what we're looking at here?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for your time and your work working with me on this. So what I've learned in the last 5 weeks is that the International Drug Control Board, that's the IDCB, they oversee the entire pharmacopoeia in the world. And they published a document, and they sent it out to all the country leaders in December of 2024. That just got FOIA and released by a United Kingdom reporter in June. And what that report says, basically, is that the IDCB instructs the countries that they understand that medical marijuana has valid use, substantial valid use, in fact, and that they recommend any country that allows medical marijuana to follow by specific protocol. This document is not being discussed anywhere. But I educated and provided your attorney with this document, because when you look at the framework that the IDCB laid out for the countries to follow by, you can compare notes with the reclassification order signed by Attorney General Blanche on April 23rd. And you'll see that the federal government lined up exactly what medical marijuana by reclassification now meets the treaties, whatever you want to call it, that be for international guidance. Now, people in Michigan voted for recreational marijuana. The main reason they voted for recreational marijuana, in my opinion, from seeing how the board was formed by Rick Snyder, which your attorney sat on the board of, to then that board being dissolved and an entire agency being built underneath the Whitmore administration. So what I am asking for is to simply be allowed to obtain this other license so that I can be federally legal. As it stands, recreational is not acknowledged by the federal government as being federally legal, despite state rules. So all it is essentially a technicality that we are modifying your ordinance, essentially adopting a second exact same ordinance that falls right into line with the recreational. So none of the rules change that the people voted for. Nothing changes except for the fact that I get the ability to become federally legal.
Discover what's possible right now.
Well done.
Sounds great.
Does anybody have questions for Kelly about this?
So what that means is nothing, your business will not change.
Nothing's going to change.
It's
No,
just a legal formality.
it's basically getting papered. Getting that paper trail so that way I have those extra protections if I need it, if you need it. Because I don't know what's going to happen in terms of recreational marijuana down the road, but it's going to be a process. As to date, Michigan doesn't have any organizations trying to file a reversal of what the voters approved for. It's going to be a hard call with the amount of people that voted for it in Michigan. So Michigan had the largest medical marijuana base of card holders out of the entire nation, bigger than California, bigger than Colorado and Washington, which were the first states to adopt. There's a lot I could speak to in terms of how regulations were formed, but your attorney was, needless to say, I think quite impressed with how well versed I was on every stage of the game, from what she engaged with to what she hasn't engaged with, that I was able to help educate her so that she could understand that I'm really, truly, and not seeking to do anything big or different. I'm just trying to get that paperwork trail to make sure that I can be covered.
So it's not gonna happen. So if Michigan repealed the marijuana, recreational marijuana,
Right,
so legally you would still be able to stay open, correct?
correct, if I had the money.
All right,
Yeah.
that was my question.
Yeah, I have to file a whole new application with
Yeah,
the state,
right.
and there's a different standard of rules, and those rules are perfect, they're crafted to keep out the small guy. But knowing that in advance, my business partner, hopefully will be able to help me hit the number we need to hit so we can get through, it's a minor license fee in contrast to what I pay.
Okay, yeah, that was my question. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. And so, moving on then to C, which is connected to B. In order to do this, we will have to have a zoning ordinance which will add medical marijuana facilities to the one existing license. So there won't be more licenses or anything like that. just one, and it will include medical along with recreational. And the planning commission needs to meet, and we have posting requirements of 16 days.
Yes.
And so, and the wording for this zoning ordinance is still being fine-tuned by the attorneys, and it will be available for all of us to look over as soon as it's done. Sorry, kid, I'm like turning away. I'm gonna mess this. So,
He's all right with that.
okay.
I'm good, I'm good.
All right, sorry about that, Kim. So, the planning commission will meet, give a recommendation to the council. The council will have a special meeting on the 27th of July at 5 PM at the village office. And at that special meeting, we will have further discussion, and then we will consider ordinance 3, the medical marijuana facilities ordinance, and the zoning ordinance 1 of 2026, the medical marijuana facilities ordinance, based on what the planning commission recommends.
So, you got me confused here.
The planning commission.
Planning commission will meet, not the village council on the 27th.
The village council will have to have a special meeting. It can be right after the planning commission meeting, just depends on what you guys have available essentially, but it does need to happen for August 1st.
Okay, so, yeah, so we can meet, but we can't meet at 5 PM.
So that's not our meeting.
No,
I'm
that's the
sorry,
planning
I
commission
misunderstood.
meeting.
I
Yeah.
We'll have to
misunderstood, I
have it like
apologize.
6 or 7 or.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I apologize. So the planning commission meets on the 27th or at 5, and then we could meet afterward, or we could meet the next day to be determined, correct?
Yep, depending on what you guys want.
Okay,
Or just meet that night,
sounds good.
That works for me, then I'll post that.
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock. Rob said he wanted it earlier, would 6 work?
6 is fine with me. How about you, Don? You're retired. Fix that.
6 PM start for me.
How does 6 PM sound to you?
Sure.
All right, Bill, how about you?
That's all right.
All right, you're
You'll
not
have to send
retired
out
yet.
an email or,
Yes, oh, absolutely, yep,
Send some reminders.
absolutely.
Okay, is there anything else we need to discuss in relation to
How would
this?
that change, can I ask?
Sure.
How would that change the criteria you operate under now? I mean, the hours, any change, the feds make a different rules for,
No, really truly what is happening now is the DEA has issued they've gone through their first line of permitting, if you will. They're going out and they're inspecting and they're asking a lot of questions. So as it stands now, the way that the Michigan framework is, if you have dual licensure, which they do exist, there's not many of them because once recreational became, nobody really did medical anyways. Yeah, so it doesn't really change except you have to have 2 different sets of books and 2 different sets of inventory, which is really kind of silly because it's the same thing, it's the same producers, it's the same plant, it's the same processes. One, the medical has a few items that can be higher in milligram, but other than that, it's exactly the same. So it literally is, in my opinion, a governmental scheme of overtaxation and overregulation and trying to figure out how to only allow certain people through the fund. To that note, I did want to just reinforce one aspect that we discussed with your attorney that I think is notable. And it's something that I brought up to Bel Air before they adopted their ordinance. And it's something that when I worked with you as a counsel and your attorney and my attorney back when you're drafting the second revision of the ordinance that stands as it is, we put in criteria specific to favoring the local, if you will. That was within legal rights, right? And so that criteria gives you as a counsel the ability that shall I ever leave, who are you going to allow in? And you had a set of criteria that nobody else has. And she was like, well done. because they can't write that in. So as they're making this new ordinance, they're layering it on top of what the people voted for. Because the people voted to only allow one, and within that criteria said, what are you doing for us in town? Because if you just want to come in and try to make money off of us, go away. And so that's there for you. And I'm really proud to have been able to champion that for you, knowing that as things go forward, by you adopting and allowing this medical licensure further ensures the stability of my business, able to be able to continue to stay here, serving the community.
Because you started out with medical. I mean, that's where your heart is.
It
That's
is.
where you started.
It is, and to that note, I just submitted a RFL to HHS over the weekend, which is a request for leadership, essentially speaking about addiction, recovery, and chronic mental illness. And I can speak to both creating products that have been able to help keep people stay sober, but help them get off of opiates and alcohol and all kinds of things. And so it's gaining a lot of traction from a federal perspective, and I'm hoping to be able to work with our local nonprofit here to bring more
Is that
resources.
something turning around from what it used to be?
That's my goal.
That was the candy for the lead in to harder drugs, and now it's
Just
the way
opposite.
off of harder drugs.
It is, yeah, it's, and it's, when you look at the history of when prohibition took place and how it actually took place, you begin to actually understand more of what's going on in our healthcare crisis and our mental health crisis.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And on to our action items. And if there's nothing further, anybody else have anything? Thank you so much. So before you is a request to renew Kelly's recreational marijuana permit. We do this every year.
I'll make that motion.
I think, we're not spending money. Can we just do just a voice vote? Let's get wild and do a voice vote. Want to? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Anybody want to adjourn this meeting?
Hold on, I got
Or
one
public
thing to say.
comment? Public comment.
Again, I just want to thank our village people. That storm we got last Monday was, and Ron and Shar down at the campground. I was down there last Monday for a couple hours because I lost power at work. And they was trying to move people around. We had sites flooded on the lake with people camping. And they went, all of our people went above and beyond last week. 4th of August, encourage all village residents to get out and vote yes on our police village. We've got a great police department, and we need to keep it that way. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, just like that. Any other public comment? Okay.
I'll make another motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everybody.
You can get back to the phone now.